Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to do 6.1 to 6.4 review. So what are the three different ways that we can use to find a solution? Well, we can graph to find a solution, we can find a solution by elimination, and we can also use substitution to find the solution. Okay, so this one, if we put them on top of each other, and we use elimination because our first step is to always look if there's an x or y by itself on one side of the equal sign. There's not, so let's go ahead and use elimination. Our next step in elimination is to make sure our x and y are on the same side of the equal sign, and that the x's are on top of the x's and the y's are on top of the y's. So it looks like we're good there. Now we got to see what we need to multiply the top by to get the bottom to be the same, where they're going to cancel. So if we cancel our x's, we can multiply the top by 2 to get them both to be 4x, but for them to cancel, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, so we're going to multiply by negative 2. So we're going to go ahead and distribute this. So negative 2 times negative 3y is 6y. Negative 2 times negative 27 is positive 54. Then I'm going to rewrite. And now when I add, negative 4x plus 4x is 0, so that's what we did. We eliminated one. 10y plus 6y is 16y, and 54 plus 26 is 80. To get y by itself, you divide by 16, so y should equal 5. Okay, but we need to make sure that it's a point, so we're going to go ahead and plug it back in. Let's pick this one. We'll plug it in for the y. So then 10 times 5 is 50. Subtract 50. 26 minus 50 should give me a negative 24. Divide by 4. X should equal negative 6. So my point's going to be negative 6, positive 5. Okay, this one, it looks like we do have a y almost by itself on the left side, but to get it by itself we're going to have to divide everything by 2, and that's going to be kind of ugly. So let's just see if we can get our x's and y's on the same side. So let's get this x moved over so that we can use elimination. So we're going to get negative x plus 2y equals to 1. Make sure that negative stays with that x. You can't make the y negative when it's not negative yet. And we're going to write the other one underneath it. Okay, now it looks like we need to multiply something to get them to be the same. So if we wanted to cancel our y's, we'd have to multiply this bottom by 2 because we have a positive 2y and we already have a negative y, so we just need to multiply by 2 to get them to cancel. So we're going to rewrite everything. So distribute this 2, so we're going to get 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x. 2 times negative y, negative 2y, and 2 times 7 is 14. So now, when we add down, we notice that 2y plus negative 2y should cancel. So now let's add this. So negative x plus negative 4x, negative 5x. 14 plus 1 is 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. X should equal negative 3. So once x equals negative 3, let's plug it in. I want to plug it into this one here. Negative 3 plus 1. So we get 2y equals negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. So my y should then equal negative 1. So my point's going to be negative 3, negative 1. Okay, the first equation is multiplied by 5. To eliminate the variable x in the system of equations, multiply the second equation by what number? So in this, we're multiplying this first equation by 5. So we're going to get 15x minus 20y is equal to 50. And then we're going to rewrite the second equation underneath it. So it says to eliminate the variable x, that means we want to eliminate x, get rid of x. So what would we multiply this bottom row by to get them to eliminate? Well, if we cover everything else up, to get 5 to be the same number as the other one, we have to multiply by 3. But we know one has to be positive, one has to be negative for them to eliminate. So we're going to go with A, multiply by -3. Okay, so this one, it looks like my x and y are on the same side of the equal sign, so we can go ahead and put this on top of each other. And let's look to see if we can add. It looks like if we want to cancel our x's, we're going to have to multiply a lot. But if we cancel our y's, well, one of them, they're both the same number, but since they're both negative, we have to get one to be positive. So we're going to multiply by -1, because then when we distribute this negative, it's going to flip that 7y sign. So it's going to be -5x plus 7y is equal to -8. So now when we add down, our y's cancel, so we should get -x equals 4. Divide both sides by -1 because x isn't by itself yet. So x equals -4. Now we got to plug it back in. Let's plug it into this one. Five times -4 is -20. Add 20 to both sides. Always do the thing that's not attached to the variable first. So -7y is equal to 28. Divide both sides by -7. Y should equal -4, not -3. I have a lot of people that think that 28 divided by 7 is 3. Okay, when solving the system of equations, which expression could be substituted for x in the first equation? Okay, so we're substituting something in for x in this first equation. So the only way we can substitute something in there is if we get this to be x equals something, because we can then plug that in for x. We're substituting in for x. So to get that to be x equals something, we're going to add 4y to both sides. So then it's x equals 4y plus 2, or x equals 2 plus 4y. So is that one of our answers? It looks like it is. Because then we can substitute that in for x. And since we're trying to substitute x into the first equation, that's why we got x equals in the second equation. Okay, it looks like both of our variables are on the same side again. So then let's go ahead and line them up. Okay. So are my x's on top my x's, y's on top my y's? It doesn't look like they are, so we got to do some flip-flopping. Say I want to flip-flop this top one here. So that means I need to move this over here and this over here. So when I do that, that negative better stay with that x. Just because we're moving them around doesn't make that y going to be negative. So the negative has to stay with the x. Okay, now it looks like our x's will cancel because one's negative and one's positive. So y plus y is 2y. 11 plus 9 is 20. So y should equal 10. Let's go ahead and plug it back in. Let's try this one. Subtract 10 from both sides. X should equal -1. When solving a system of equations, which expression can be substituted for y in the first equation? So this time we're substituting y. So that means we need to get it to be y equals from the second equation. So we got to subtract 3x from both sides. So y equals 1 minus 3x, so that we can plug it in for y. So is that one of my answers? It looks like it is. It's D. Okay, my x and y are on the same side, so let's go ahead and put them on top of each other. Looks like nothing's going to cancel, so we got to multiply one of them. If we want to cancel my x's, we need, since they already have the same number in front, one's positive, the other one's positive, so we have to make sure we multiply by -1. So let's go ahead and rewrite it. You could have also eliminated your y's by multiplying by -2 if you wanted. So it's going to be negative x minus y is equal to negative 2. So then my x's will cancel. I add down 2y plus negative y is y. Negative 4 plus negative 2 is negative 6. Let's go ahead and plug it into this one. Add 6 to both sides. So then x should equal 8. Again, if you wanted to go ahead and check it, plug both of those in for the equations here for your x's and y's. The substitution method should be used to solve which system of equations? So substitution is when x or y is by itself on one side of the equal sign. So let's take a look at this first one here. Do I have any x or y's by itself on the one side of the equal sign? No. The second one, do I have x or y by itself on one side of the equal sign? No. C, is x or y by itself on one side of the equal sign? It looks like this x is, so my answer is going to be C. Okay, it looks like x and y are on the same side of my equal sign. So do I want to cancel my x's or my y's? It looks like my x's have the same number in front. One's positive, one's negative, so we're good to go. They'll cancel. Negative 2y plus y is negative y. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Divide both sides by negative 1 because y is not by itself yet. So y should be negative 1. So let's go ahead and plug it back in. Negative x plus negative 1 is equal to 3. Add 1 to both sides. Negative x is equal to 4. Again, divide both sides by negative 1 because x isn't by itself yet. So then x should equal negative 4. When solving the system of equation, which expression could be substituted for y in the first equation? Okay, so we're substituting y, so that means we got to get this second equation to be y equals. So let's subtract 2x from both sides. So y equals 2 minus 2x. Is that one of my answers? Yes, it is. Because then we could plug this in for y. We'd be substituting y. Okay, this one, it looks like x and y are both by themselves on one side, but if I want to get them really by themselves, I'd have to divide by 3 on this one and 12 on this other one, which would be kind of ugly because it'd be a lot of fractions. So let's go ahead and get x and y on the same side of the equal sign. So then we get negative 4y plus 3x is equal to negative 5. Subtract 9x from both sides. 12y minus 9x is equal to 15. Now let's put them on top of each other. Make sure that when you move these around, your x's are on top of your x's and your y's are on top of your y's. So let's go ahead and try to get my y's to cancel. So let's multiply this top by 3. Get negative 12y plus 9x is equal to negative 15. Okay, if we add down, negative 12y plus 12y is 0. 9x plus negative 9x is 0. Negative 15 plus 15 is 0. Does 0 equal 0? Yes, it does. So then if we have them equal to each other, my answer is going to be I and S. So those two lines should be sitting on top of each other. It also means that there's multiple solutions that they both share because they are sitting on top of each other. Okay, 2 newborn kitties together weigh 48 ounces. The spotted kitty weighs 6 ounces more than the white ones. How many ounces does the white kitty weigh? Okay, so if I have 2 cats, one cat, if I put them both together on a scale, the total is 48 ounces. So I'm going to put them both together on a scale, and they're going to weigh 48 ounces. Okay, so then let's say this X is spotted, and this Y is white. Okay, so the spotted cats weigh 6 ounces more than the white ones. So if I add 6 to my white ones, I should get however much my spotted one weighs. So let's go ahead and plug this in for x. So we're going to get y plus 6 plus y is equal to 48. So 2y plus 6 is equal to 48 because I combined my like terms. Subtract 6. 2y is equal to 42. Divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to 21. We've got to always label it 21 ounces because we're talking about their weights. So it says, how many ounces does the white kitty weigh? Well, since this is my white kitty because it's y, that's all I have to do. It weighs 21 ounces. If I wanted to find how much the spotted kitty weighs, I could plug this back in for y and figured out that the other spotted kitty weighs 27 ounces. Okay, so it looks like my x and y are on the same side again, so let's go ahead and line them up. My x's are on top of my x's, my y's on top of my y's. So let's go ahead and get rid of my x's, so all I have to do is multiply by 2. So 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times y is 2y, and 2 times 19 is 38. Add down, negative 4x plus 4x is 0, negative 2y plus 2y is 0, 20 plus 38 is 58. Does 0 equal 58? No. So my answer is going to be no solution. They never cross each other. Alright, x and y are on the same side again. Let's go ahead and get rid of my x's again, so we'd have to multiply by negative 2, because again, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, negative 2 times negative y is 2y, and negative 2 times negative 1 is 2. Always remember to do after the equal sign too. We add down, our x's cancel. Negative 4y plus 2y is negative 2y. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. Divide both sides by negative 2. Y should equal 2. Let's go ahead and plug it back into the equation over here because that's the one that looks pretty easy. Add 2 to both sides. X should equal 1.